Okay, yesterday I spent some time with my CabKing 6, which is a cab making machine, a machine that helps you shape and polish cabochons. And I wanted to show off what I did yesterday, and I'll just take them one by one. The first one, the pink one you see here, is called Rose Quartz. I had bought a bunch of this stuff to tumble so that I'd have tumbled stones, polished stones, to give away to kids at my table at Pybus Market. Kids are really interested in stones, and I thought I'd kind of stoke that by having some stones available. But some of the stones were large enough to cut into cabochons, so I made this one yesterday. Again, it started off like this, really rough, just a small stone, probably a little bit bigger than this though. And then I cut it down into a shape that I thought I could make. It's flat on one side, and then it's domed on the other sides and polished. It's like a half moon shape. Looks pretty good. I'll be able to use that. The next one is some other rock that I acquired at the same time. This is called Hawk's Eye, and it was delivered in pieces that I was then able to cut into slabs with my tile saw. So that's normally the first step, is to cut it into a slab. My tile saw is not ideally suited for this, so it doesn't do a great job, but with pieces of wood that are not too thick, like this one, I can get slabs out of it. And then when I polished it up, it came out like this, which I think looks pretty good. This is a really interesting stone because the brown part of the stone, this is the back, this is the front. I don't know, it kind of made a weird shape out of this. The brown part of this stone is really, really soft. And when you grind it on the first, let's say I've got 6 wheels, the first 4 wheels will leave, it looks like mud behind it. It just grinds away at it. So it really gets really small, and it's limits to how you can polish it. The next one is a piece of local obsidian. And again, I was able to cut this into a slab with my tile saw. This is the cut side. This is the natural side. Obsidian is volcanic glass, and this came from a friend of mine's orchard. And then I was able to take a piece of the cut side, the slab that came off of here, and make that into a nice cabochon. It's got an interesting shape, and I can definitely use this in jewelry. The drawback here, and I don't know if you could see it in the pictures, is that it is pitted. It's not a good piece of obsidian. It has imperfections in it, and as I was polishing it, the imperfections began to show. The only way to get past that is to grind past the imperfections and hope that there's no imperfections behind them. Of course, if you keep grinding, you'll end up with no stone, so I stopped. And I don't think it looks that bad. And then the next one is also from the same friend's orchard. This is petrified wood, and you can actually see the texture of the wood here, the broken wood. And again, I used my tile saw to cut slabs off of it. And I had done this the other day with a different piece. It came out with a darker one, but this one came out, I think, just absolutely gorgeous. Again, it came right off of this somewhere. I don't remember exactly where. And the idea was to have a usable shape. So this is kind of like a rounded triangle. It's a little bit fat. I need to work on my slab cutting. Actually, buying slabs would be a much better idea. And then last but not least, something a little bit different and interesting. I have a kiln, and I have mold that will make cabochons. And this is a piece of, or straight from the kiln, cabochon made out of broken wine bottles. In this case, it's a clear wine bottle and a blue sake bottle. So it's really, really pretty. I break it up into pieces. I clean the pieces. I put them in the mold. I melt them down at about 1600 degrees. It takes all day to do this because there's a schedule that has to be run. I don't know if you could see it, but there's bumps on it where the glass didn't melt all the way. There's a texture on the back, which is just kind of undesirable. It's also really thick. Put that through the cab maker, and I've got this really nice little polished cabochon, which I could definitely use in jewelry. It's a lot thinner. It's got a good shape. It's really smooth. It's really shiny. And all of these, the most polishing they've gone through is 6,000 grit polishing pad. polishing wheel, I should say, and I do have a polishing pad that I could put 14,000 grit diamond paste on, and I'm probably going to run all of them through that before I use them in jewelry or sell them. This is a lot of fun. It's very time consuming. It took about a good 2 hours to make these 5 cabochons. Part of that is because a lot of the shaping is done with that machine rather than with the trim saw. I don't have a good trim saw for that. I do use my tile saw, but it's not perfect. And I'm learning. It's a lot of fun. And that's about it. It's what I'm up to.